Welcome to the Landmark Theater. I'm here with Charlie Shatskin. Hello, Charlie.
Good afternoon.
Thanks so much for taking us on a tour of the Landmark Theater. This is a beautiful lobby here. Charlie, can you tell us a little bit about the theater before we start our backstage tour? When was this built?
The theater was built in 1928 by the Lowe's Corporation, and it was one of a series of half a dozen theaters of this decorative style, level of decoration. And they were designed to be the epitome of theater in the city it was built in. The time the Landmark was built, it was Lowe's State Theater, there were 5 other theaters downtown Syracuse, and none of them were this elaborate. This was designed and built to be the most elaborate, welcoming theater in the city of Syracuse.
And can you tell me a little bit about how you're connected with the Landmark Theater?
Well, since I've been doing this since dinosaurs walked the earth, I was here as one of the original volunteers when the building was saved back in the 70s from the wrecking ball. And I'm currently the development director for the Landmark Theater. So I'm both a stage technician at night and a development director by day.
Fantastic, and that's why you're in black.
Correct.
You're not mourning the theater.
No.
Okay.
It's what we wear.
Okay, great. Could we start to walk into the theater now? I'm really curious about what the theater is like.
When the theater was built, it was built to be a movie and vaudeville house. So our concession stand is smaller than you'd think for a space of 2,800 seats. Bathrooms are the same issue. When we have large shows here, there's lines at all the bathrooms, and that's because in 1928, it was a movie and vaudeville house. People didn't go to the restrooms all at the same time. Unlike today, where it's, intermission, 20 minutes, go take care of business, come back.
Boy, things have changed.
Things have changed. So we're undersized in bathroom space, concession space, because when the theater was built, it was not anticipated that there'd be 2,800 people in the lobbies looking for services all at the same time.
It certainly is a magical place. Is there anything in terms of the style of the building that you can tell us?
Well, this is what was called Indo-Persian. If you see, we have an Indian elephant as the key part of our grand mural. All of the theaters that were built by the Lowe's Corp in this level of style have different motifs. There's Moorish motifs. No two are the same. They were all individual, and this is the only one like it in the country.
Oh, it really is amazing.
That if you go online and look at the King's Theater in Brooklyn, that's a sister theater of ours.
No kidding.
Which just had a $90 million renovation.
Wow.
So it's stunningly beautiful.
So as we go into the theater, and boy, there's a lot of beautiful lobby upstairs and down. How many seats are here in this theater, Charlie?
We are the largest proscenium theater in terms of capacity in central New York. We have 2,830 seats, which makes us 800 seats more than the Civic Center's largest theater.
I also understand there's going to be a renovation.
Yes.
Will that change the number of seats significantly, or
not significantly?
Not much?
We're doing 2 major projects this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Project 1 is replacing our 1950s marquee with a replica of the original 1928 marquee, which is going to be pretty stunning. It'll have video displays instead of hand letters, but the look and feel of it is going to be almost as close as we can get to an exact replica of what it was like in 1928. In the theater itself, we're replacing every seat. We have seats that were built in 1928, and people in 1928 were shorter and narrower. Current seats are uncomfortable for 2020 sized people. They're too low to the ground, people are bigger. So we are replacing all of the chairs with the idea to get more legroom. Some seats will be wider, and that'll take us out almost 100 seats.
Wow. So if we go into the theater then, past this beautiful lobby, how about what door would you recommend, Charlie? There's so
Through
many.
The main lobby, but
Okay.
you might want to pan up Corral,
Sure.
and people can see some of the
Oh my gosh, that's so
original.
gorgeous.
These are all original chandeliers. The lobby space was renovated in 20 years ago.
Wow.
Cleaned, some regilding done. Our next mission, when we get the next $1 million, is to do the same for the theater space. We go in, you'll see that
Oh, it sparkles.
it does not sparkle like this does.
Right.
And it's in part because for 60 years there was smoking.
All
in the theater.
right, you can't do that anymore,
that
can
anymore.
you?
Nope.
Wow. So here we go into the theater. Thanks, Charlie. Wow, here we are. We're underneath the balcony above, so the ceiling back here is kind of low. Let's take a look down. This is half
Close up of our chair. Here's one. You can see they're worn. They were reupholstered about 30 years ago, but all the seat mechanics were kept. As part of our seating renovation, we are keeping the wooden armrests,
Oh, no
the
kidding.
original ones, because they're in
Yeah.
great shape, and the original cast iron aisle standards are going to be taken out, sent to the seating company, sandblasted, and repainted.
Wow,
But they're coming back.
they're beautiful.
And then because this is a historic listed building, the pattern of the upholstery will remain the same. So we'll have a plush back, a leatherette bottom. So it all will look pretty much the same, only better.
Wow. And a little more space. Okay. I hope I'm not making every viewer dizzy. By the way, I'm walking around holding the camera. Steadicam is not my middle name. You mentioned house left over there and house right, and I would remind our viewers that when we say stage right, we're actually talking from the actor's point of view, and stage left also from the actor's point of view.
And do your viewers know why it's up and down stage?
Let's refresh their memories.
Stages used to be raked because
And you said raked.
they would be at an angle going, you went taller as you went towards the back wall of the stage.
So you could
That
see.
was because the audience was not on a rake. In
Gotcha.
modern theater, like here, you can see the elevation of the seats goes up as you go back.
Right.
So
Okay.
rather than that, in the early days, the actors went up as they went back.
I see.
So everybody could see them.
Okay.
So as Carell was saying, to make sure that everybody knew on stage where they were and where they were going, it was be from the actor's perspective.
Yeah.
Their right was stage right, their left was stage left, and they were literally going up stage when they went up. They were walking
so the
up
stage
an
was
incline.
sloped.
So that's why it's upstage.
Well, let's wander up onto the stage, shall we? And take a look at what things are like here. There are small stairs to get us up onto the stage. Over here, stage right, we're walking past the proscenium.
Pause right here.
Okay.
So if you pan to your right, we have the original organ lift here.
Oh, wow.
You can see this frou-frou around the square. The organ player would sit here and would fly up during the movie and fly down when the movie was over.
Oh, so this raises and lowers.
Yes, and it's inset into the main stage elevator, which goes down to floor level or becomes a pit for musicians when we have road shows.
So technically, this area here could be referred to as the orchestra pit,
Correct.
which is in front of the proscenium arch, which runs right up above us. I'm going to pan out here into the audience, and I'm looking at the balcony now, and it's really dark back there, but way up in the tippy top, Charlie, I see some windows where movies
That was the
are
original
shown.
projection booth, where they had carbon arc projectors. But now that is the spotlight booth. So for Broadway shows or
You tuck them
any
up
show
in
that
there.
needs spotlighting, there are 3 in-house spotlights that live there.
Wow, it's a plaster line, Charlie.
This is, as is with the case with most things in the theater, you have to pick a reference point. That's where we have stage left and right. The plaster line is the most downstage line before it becomes the public space.
Gotcha.
So we have the plaster line here, we have some decorative lighting, and then this pocket is where the fire curtain runs, as is required. This theater has, like every other one that's over 400 seats, a fire curtain.
So, Charlie, if it's all right, I'm going to ask you some questions that are on the sheet of questions that
I'll do my best
students
to answer.
have for you. And that way they can jot some things down and compare this theater to another theater. So, you would say, what kind of theater is this? Proscenium, a thrust, an arena, or a black box? Those are the kinds of theaters we're considering.
This is a proscenium theater. We have this proscenium arch, which Carell talked about. And from the floor to the bottom of the arch is 29 feet. And it's 50-something feet wide. Now, to explain why proscenium theaters are proscenium theaters, is Carell's going to pan up to the ceiling.
Okay. I'm going to go back a little bit to do that.
Which we call the grid, which will become obvious to you when you see the picture.
Okay, here I go. I'm going to go over here to the side of the proscenium arch, and I'm going to go up and up so you can kind of compare the side of the auditorium with going up to the grid, which is overhead. Don't get too
Now,
dizzy
the
with me.
proscenium, the way it works is drops, scenery, whatever, that are in the picture when
Yes.
you're in the audience. When you want them to be out of the picture, they are flown out. With the proscenium being 29 feet high, the grid is 75 feet, so more than twice the proscenium opening.
Okay.
That's so a drop or a piece of scenery can fly up into the fly tower and disappear from sight of the nice people in the audience.
How far is it off in that wing over there and there?
Well, this shows,
that side of the stage?
This will illustrate the difficulties we have here in this theater. Let me go back in time a little bit. What we're looking at here, this entire stage house, is 11 years old. The building is 1928. Why is this 11 years old? Because 11 years ago, the theater redid this entire backstage. It was an expansion project where I'm standing right here. Used to be the back wall of the theater. So it was about 10 feet shorter. It was about the same width stage left from the proscenium, but stage right, which Carell is panning over there, the stage right wall was probably about where that metal cabinet is.
Oh.
So it was considerably smaller. Why was that? Shows were smaller. They didn't need all those space. So, in the renovation, we couldn't go stage left very much because of
That's still quite shallow over
the
there.
next building over. It's very
Gotcha.
shallow. And the what's directly on the other side of the wall is the fire exit vomitory. So
Gotcha.
all the fire exit from the loge and balcony comes down and goes out there. So you couldn't eliminate that.
Right. You have to get out of this building.
You have to
And
get
so
out.
this way you go right outside past that and out the door onto the
Over
street.
Here,
Okay.
we took over storefronts that were over there and moved that wall 15 feet stage right, and we went up 15 feet.
Oh, so there were stores there on the
There were
street.
stores there. So what we ended up with was
Okay.
considerably more space stage right, a lot more depth in the stage proper,
Okay.
and the ability to fly much bigger things up at a site.
What gets produced here at the Landmark? Is there a
Unlike
purpose or a
unlike
focus?
We don't like to call it competition, but Syracuse Stage, for example, is a producing house. We are the exact opposite. We produce nothing here. This theater is essentially what's called a four-wall, where you rent the space and you bring your show in and produce it. So unlike Syracuse Stage, which makes revenue from ticket sales, and that's how they make their revenue, we rent the space and get our revenue from rental rates and from the concession stands. We produce virtually nothing of our own. We maintain the theater as a place that other people can take access to it and use it. Hence our earlier discussion about the 2,800 seats. That's what separates us from the Civic Center, from
All
the
those
theaters
seats.
in Rome, the theaters in Utica. We have the largest number of seats before you get to Rochester.
So here on the sheet now, it's asking about the type of fly system, how many line sets you have. Can you tell us a little bit about this that's over here?
This is what's known as a single purchase counterweight system.
Okay.
And what that means is, well, let's go to the basics.
Okay.
A counterweight system basically is a teeter-totter. So think of a teeter-totter, and if you have somebody really heavy on one side and somebody light on the other side, it tilts this way. Then you can't move it. So the goal here is by adding weights on one side, you can balance out the weight of what's hung on a pipe on the other side. So for example, this electric pipe might have 500 pounds of weight on it to balance the weight of the pipe.
Okay.
And the instruments on it.
And the electric pipe, you mean this
Yes.
pipe that has lighting on it? And it also has all this cable running to get electricity out there. Charlie, what's the term for these pipes that are out that scenery and lights are hung on?
Well, they're called pipes.
Pipes? Is there a...
Sometimes they're called battens, but
Okay.
that's more of the
Old world?
old world.
Okay, I'm an old guy, so
It's
I'm
the
going for
classic
that.
name. Okay. Yeah, that's all
Battens.
right.
But
we call them
currently
pipes.
today, you would call them pipes?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, which makes total sense since they
And
are literally pipe.
So Carell will pan over there.
Yeah.
So we'll just give you a little description here.
Sorry,
So you
I'm
can
going
see
too fast.
on any of these pipes that are hanging down, they're suspended in the sky by a series of wire rope cables.
Yes. And I'm going over here so that I can look
So
up at
in
one.
our theater, because of the width of the pipes,
Yes.
you're supposed to have a suspension line every 10 feet or less. Not supposed to have more than 10 feet.
Gotcha.
Because the pipe will bend if a heavy piece is set in the middle between the suspension points.
Right.
So we have a 6 pickup set here.
Right.
Those lines go up to the grid. They go over a pulley. Each one has its own pulley.
Right.
And they're sent stage right, where they go to a master pulley, which is called the head block. All 6 lines go to one block, the head block, which is just a big pulley.
Okay.
Then they come down to these arbors.
Okay. Okay. So can you point to that again? This
So
is.
we have 2 pipes,
Yep.
a bottom piece,
Right.
and a top plate, and that's what makes up the arbor.
That's the arbor.
And the arbor is what carries the counterweight that counterbalances the weight on the pipe.
Gotcha.
So this pipe here, line 39, has nothing on it currently. There's nothing hung on it. Why does it have weight on it? Because the pipes have weight. The pipe alone weighs, these are
That
22 pounds each. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 88-ish pounds of
Okay.
pipe weight. That's what we call it, is pipe weight. And these live on here all the time because the pipe weight always has weight.
Okay. And is it possible maybe one of these battens that's part way down just to fly it down just a little bit? What would that be? This electric pipe up here? Would that be all right? Just maybe a little bit?
The one labeled Fifth Electric.
Okay. So let me come look at that.
To answer Carell's earlier question, there are 78 lines here. There
Okay.
used to be less than 60. That's what
Wow.
we gained by putting the back wall
Right.
there.
Okay.
So what we do is you label the pipe, scan over here.
Yeah.
So for the last show, they put a blackout on line 54.
Gotcha.
So when you change what's on the pipe, you put a label on it so the operators know which is which.
Right.
But
So
again,
this is your Fifth Electric.
Fifth Electric, check the
You
balance.
check the balance. It looks like it's
Open the
got
lock.
some slack. Okay, now you moved the lock there, and you're going to do what?
I'm going to fly it in.
You're going to pull that rope down towards you. I'm going
And
along.
this is standard practice. The rope closest to the rail is the in line.
Okay.
Pull it down to move the things in.
Okay.
And reach to the back and pull the outline.
Okay, can you see it
This
moving?
makes sense to everybody. This is nothing more than a giant loop of rope. One
Okay.
that is attached to the top of the arc and one that is attached to the bottom. And by pulling on the correct line, you can move the pipe. And
Gotcha. Okay, and there's a pulley down at the bottom and a pulley at the top,
pulley at the top.
and then
The top is integrated in the head block.
gotcha.
All that moves together.
Here are a few more questions for you. Are there dimmers in with this theater? Do you have dimmers?
Yes.
Built in?
Yes, we have.
How many do you have?
When the renovation was done, we made it so we could produce shows without people bringing stuff in, because occasionally community groups will want to rent the space. It's not just about over-the-road shows.
Right, so there are the lights on electrics. Okay, so 300 plus dimmers. And you have an in-house sound system.
We do not.
Oh, you do not?
That is one of the weird things here.
Okay.
My task when I'm wearing my other hat as development director is to get enough money together to put an in-house sound system here.
Oh, so that's
So we
still...
have none, and that means that any community group renting the hall
Yeah.
has to rent sound that's typically about $3,000.
Wow.
Because this is a big room to fill with sound.
Yeah. Is there a scene shop, a paint shop, a prop shop, or a costume shop here in this theater?
No.
Okay, because...
we have a wardrobe room space,
Okay.
which could conceivably use to build costumes, but it's primarily big road shows come in, do their laundry, do whatever.
And they
We have
bring
a
it
little
all
tiny
with them?
They bring it all with them.
Okay.
We have a little tiny shop. We have nothing like being able to build full-size flats or anything like that. And if we did have anything downstairs to do that, we'd have no way of getting the
Gotcha.
scenery up to the stage.
Okay.
That again comes from being a non-producing facility. We don't have to have those things.
And it doesn't look like there's really a control booth, but perhaps just a space we did walk by
We
as
did
we
walk
were
by,
coming
and
in.
Remembering that this was a movie and vaudeville house, and when it was built, there was no such thing as electronic light boards and sound boards.
Yeah.
What we had back here, no longer here,
I'm going to follow you.
but along this proscenium wall, going stage right,
Yeah.
there was a giant switchboard. And you've seen, if you look at old movies,
Right.
at 42nd Street or one of those kind of movies, you see the guys throwing the levers and clicking
Right.
things, and a big ship's wheel, which was how they ran the dimmers.
Gotcha.
So there was no your little
As we know of
ETC
it.
board. Yep.
Right.
It was
No
all done
control
manually.
booth.
And that went away in the renovation.
Gotcha.
So the space back at the back of the house was carved out by removing 3 rows of chairs. We have a ETC lighting console there for our in-house needs,
Okay.
but it's a huge space for Broadway road shows to bring their sound and light boards.
Gotcha. So just a few more questions, Charlie. Thank you so much. This is great. So I guess then if you don't have shops, you probably don't have scenic storage, prop storage, or costume storage because you don't produce theater here. You wouldn't really need those things. But you do have dressing rooms. How many do you have?
We have, well, that was another interesting thing in the old theater. This back wall here, remember it was
Yeah.
much closer. We had 6 dressing rooms on the second floor back there running parallel with the street.
Okay.
That has become, again, when we took over the storefronts on stage right along Jefferson Street, we were able to convert those into shiny new dressing rooms, and there's probably 15.
Wow.
So we have chorus-sized, star-sized, everything from 1 star to full chorus-sized dressing rooms, and they all run along on 2 levels, going along parallel to Jefferson Street.
Gotcha. So that was part of that renovation also.
This door, a small truck up to 24 feet can back up to this door. Mm-hmm. When it's tractor trailers, we build a dock out to the street.
Oh,
That's at
okay.
the tractor trailer height. Stuff comes
And
off the
that's
truck,
what-
rolls in here.
And that's what a lot of this stuff is. Sitting. So I just have a couple of more questions, Charlie. Thank you so much.
You keep saying just a couple more.
I know, right? But I'm at the bottom of the sheet here.
Okay.
How many shows would you say you come through this space in any given season?
It varies dramatically.
Okay.
2 years ago, we had Wicked, we had Lion King. It was a colossal year. We had 140,000 people come through here.
Wow.
In a more standard year, it's 100-ish thousand. And that's, again, it depends on the shows depend on what's coming, what's available.
Okay.
You might have a week's worth of Broadway show, stage shows, or it might be a bus and truck where it's a split week where they do 3 days, weekdays here. They put it back in the truck and they go somewhere else where they do the weekend shows. That's what a split week is. It depends on the show. It depends on how the producer perceives it'll sell. Some shows, they know they're only going to sell 6,000 seats, so they don't do 8 shows, they do 3.
Gotcha.
Because we have the space. Other shows, Wicked was 8 shows a week for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And everyone sold out.
Wow, no kidding. So
And
there,
Lion King was the same way, except it was 3 weeks.
there are musicals, there are plays, there are concerts.
We are a very popular comedian stop.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
For example, Sebastian Maniscalco had the opportunity to do 2 shows at the War Memorial. He opted to do 4 shows here, so we could same number of tickets available.
Wow.
And why is that? Because this is, for comedians, a much more intimate space.
Oh, yeah.
If you're out on the lift, or even on center stage, or I'll let you come down.
Oh, I'm following you for sure.
Here, so that people at home can get a sense of
Oh, yeah.
how
I'm
intimate
going to look
it is
over
here.
your shoulder to give them a sense of that
So
perspective.
they can have
Oh,
visual
yeah, look at
contact,
that.
eye contact with everybody except the way tippy top,
Right.
in a way that you can't have
Wow,
at
yeah,
the War Memorial.
it's like they're right here in your living room.
Yeah, so comedians typically
Uh-huh.
prefer this to the giant barn of the War
Right.
Memorial.
That makes sense.
And Civic Center is the same familiarity with the people, but since they have 800 fewer seats, that makes us, if you're a person who can draw that many seats, the place you want to come to.
Gotcha. So one final question. Can you tell us a little bit about the full-time staff in terms of administration and production? Like who all works here
We have,
and what do they do?
by industry standards, there's national averages for places of our budget and number of ticket sales. We are very below average in the number of employees. We only have 6
Huh?
operating this facility. I'm one of the 6. We have an executive director, we have me, we have facilities director, we have box office manager, obviously, and we have production people for shows that require production assistance. But that's it. Since we're not a producing house, we don't have prop master, head carpenter, head electrician. We have none of that. because
No
we don't need
TD,
to. There's no TD.
no costume, anything?
There's none of
Okay.
that. So we are at that level of employees. We're understaffed, given the size of the theater and the number of people that come through.
Okay. And so just as to conclude, so I understand it better, if or when a show as big as Wicked comes in, if there are only a few employees here, how do you manage to pull something like that off?
Because this is a union house.
What's that
The
mean?
IATSE Stagehand Union,
IATSE?
the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, Local 9. We were actually Local 1, but New York took the number 1, even though we're 2 years older than them.
How is that? Historically, was Syracuse one of those places where shows were done?
Syracuse was famous as a tryout town. The Schuberts brought almost everything they did in the 20s here.
Wow.
Because we had, and up until the 90s, had a demographic blend that made the Syracuse area a marketing tryout town.
Huh?
Tide, soap. I mean, all kinds of things would be tried out here because if it's sold here, because of our broad demographics,
Yes.
it would be popular around the country. And Broadway shows used to try out here. And we now, today, we have what are called techs, which are when a Broadway show is being, or road show is being prepared to go out on the road, they will come here to build the show and get it ready to put on the road. For example, Lion King teched here for 6 weeks.
Wow.
And then did 3 weeks of shows. It's a huge plus for the community. Lion King probably spent $10 million into
Wow.
the local economy. Huge plus for the stage technicians. They got a ton of work. And the nice people got to see the first run of a national Broadway tour.
Wow.
So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And so they come here for a lot of reasons. We have a big enough stage, and they typically say if they can fit it into this stage, they can fit it into everywhere they're going on tour.
That's great.
So that's
a
the
good
bad
way.
news. The good news, bad news about being small. So it fits here; it'll fit anywhere. The stagehand pay rate is very reasonable compared to New York City or even other places upstate.
Wow.
And there's a tax break if you produce a show for the road.
Right.
In any of the upstate theaters, so anywhere from Albany, Schenectady, Rome, here, Rochester, Buffalo. We have the advantage of having time available for techs because we don't produce our own shows.
Gotcha.
So we have spaces, we can make blocks of time available for them that other venues that do produce their own shows don't have available.
Oh, that's fantastic. Charlie, I can't thank you enough for this so illuminating an amazing tour. Thank you for all this information
Glad to help.
and to show us this incredible space. What a gem.